Oh, right, Sean K. Sean K. What happened in the last episode of House of the Dragon? That's what it's called.
So it was Rhaenyra's funeral, wasn't it? Everyone had gathered on Driftmark for Rhaenyra's funeral.
Yep.
And yeah, to say that it was a little tense was a bit of an understatement. Rhaenyra spent pretty much the entire episode trying to talk to Daemon.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most inconvenient of times, so you do that.
Sorry.
What else? I think what else is like important.
Aemond Road, Vhagar.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Claimed Vhagar.
Yep.
Bonded with Vhagar.
His cousin's beloved chopped his eye out.
Aren't they his nephews?
Yeah.
The lineage in this whole thing is really confusing for me.
Yeah.
They attack. Well, because the girls. What was her name?
Valyria?
No, there's Baela and Rhaenyra? I'm sure Rhaenyra's the one that didn't have the dragon. Rhaenyra wasn't very happy. She wanted to be the one to bond with Vhagar. Because it was her mother's dragon.
Mm-hmm.
He was it was a bit of a weird because I didn't really know whose side I was on. They were both kind of right and wrong.
Yes.
It ended up with Viserys, the youngest of Rhaenyra's two boys. Of the older ones, obviously there's the younger one. Cutting Aemon's eye.
Yep.
He lost an eye.
And there was a big family gathering.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was a bit tense. Alicent lost her mind a little bit.
A little bit.
Viserys told everyone basically that the infighting had to stop because they were a loving family. Alicent said that wasn't enough. Told them that she would take one of Rhaenyra's children's eyes as compensation.
Yeah.
She tried to do it. Rhaenyra stopped her. She slashed Rhaenyra's arm.
Yeah. Which is kind of like, I don't know what to think about that, because isn't that just... Because Rhaenyra said, questioning the fidelity of her children being like the crown princes, like that's like highest of treasons. Wouldn't be like slashing Rhaenyra, wouldn't that be considered the same, considering she's the heir?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they just like lop her head off then, save themselves all the chew?
Because Viserys doesn't want to.
I know, but it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Every time I feel like Viserys is...
Yeah.
He's shown he's like being a strong king, he kind of like... He steps back when he shouldn't. He should assert his dominance. So they said, didn't they, like Rhaenyra and Daemon said people would question whether they were the ones that caused it.
Yep.
Yep. God, is Viserys still alive?
Probably just going to come out and just have one arm, one leg, half his head.
He already has one arm.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Bless him. He must be holding on by a thread.
Yeah, also...
There's another flash forward here, isn't there? Isn't this the last one?
Is it?
I'm sure there is.
God. Been a flash forward in every single episode, isn't it?
I'm sure they said these. I'm sure this is the last one, and these are going to be the character, like the actual actors playing these characters from going forward.
I see indeed.
Do you remember how we were like, oh, I wonder how difficult it'll be to keep up with like two actresses playing Rhaenyra and Alicent, and there's been like 3 actors and actresses playing like the children.
Is it?
I don't even know.
I haven't noticed.
How many has there been?
Playing the children.
How many?
Well, I
has there
assume
been
that
playing
the
children?
baby isn't Aegon, because Aegon is now a teenager. So I assume the baby that was he is not now he.
Yeah, well, you know.
So I assume that's at least 2 different actors.
I was being a little melodramatic, but you know what I mean.
Oh, you were being melodramatic? That doesn't sound like you.
You know, I tried.
This is why everyone says that I bully you.
I know.
I don't think they understand our sense of humour.
Your sense of humour.
I don't know how you dare.
You
call me a vile creature every time it's just because it's not on camera.
Yeah, because you're like burping fart, not like an
so
animal.
do you.
Like an animal?
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't burp a fart any worse than you do.
It's a lie.
And I will not hear another word about it.
6 years since I last saw my lord husband, Maester. I must know. Will he live?
He led his sailors into an ambush. The ship made to look as if it were abandoned. The wound was
Corley's
severe.
dead.
Much blood was lost, but the greater concern is the fever that followed. Ship's maester said,
Oh.
6 years has passed.
It's been 6 years since she saw Corlys.
Mm.
He didn't necessarily sail straight after that first episode.
even for princess.
So, who then takes up that seat?
The sea snake is strong.
No doubt. And yet
Viserys,
I have seen
wouldn't
that
it?
fever. I am the sea snake's own blood. The closest kin he has left.
Be careful, good
Is
sir.
he going to call...
None could take your words for treason.
Yeah, is he calling the kid's parentage into question? Oh dear.
Driftmark is mine by all rights. And while I should like your
Ooh.
support, I do not need it.
Ooh!
The wings of
A
ship,
new threat.
the crown has good reason.
God.
Oh, has Alicent become like the...
It'll be a similar situation if the king's in a bad state. It'll be up to her to take over, won't it?
What's that?
It's this Dragonstone.
That's all. I thought so.
You talk some about crap here, don't you?
I did. I did. Do you know what I mean? Is that how you talk to me?
It's my turn to bully you now. Oh, didn't see all this in Game of Thrones.
Do you know why it is? It's because I get Dragonstone and Storm's End mixed up. They don't look anything like each other. I don't know how I get them so confused in my head. Whatever it is, they're making gross noises. Yeah. So who's this? This Daemon. Yep. I thought I recognised that walk, you know.
A bit of a weird thing for Matt Smith, like, don't
It's
you?
He's just such a good. He's
When
such
you
a good
recognise
actor.
someone's walk, you know you've
I know.
become an official
I know
fanboy.
everyone's walk. I could have guessed if it was Alan Rickman. I could have guessed his way back. I know every.
So that was Baylor, that was on Driftmark.
It's his daughter, isn't it?
Yeah. I didn't know if it was Baylor or Rhaenyra though, because obviously they've changed actresses. Oh, she's preggers.
Is she?
Can't tell.
No.
Unless you're planning to depose your own mother, you have plenty of time to study. Leave us.
Joffrey?
Yeah.
Come.
So the question also comes up:
Oh, it's like little Joffrey.
is will their son be better claimants to the throne than? Is she going to King's Landing?
To King's Landing, then.
Nope. Yep. I'm always like 3 seconds ahead of this show. No, because that's not a good thing. 3 seconds ahead means nothing. That's not going to help me. I'd rather be a month ahead of the show. Do you know what I mean?
No, but then you complain that you spoiled everything for yourself.
No, because I still like to know stuff. To be fair, this has been spoiled. If you watch Game of Thrones, this has been spoiled.
Oh.
I know how this ends.
Eventually, like hundreds of years later.
No, I mean Rhaenyra.
Oh, well, yeah.
I know what happens to all these characters. I think. And I definitely know what happens to Rhaenyra.
I know what happens, yeah. They said it directly on Game of Thrones.
And her royal consort, Prince Daemon Targaryen.
And they're not received by anyone. Oh, that's that.
Who is this?
Thank you for that exhaustive accounting, Lord Beesbury. I remind you.
It's actually mad that the person sat in the king's chair and the person sat in the hand's chair are both high towers. Basically, high towers.
I trust they've been welcomed as befits their station.
As you instructed, Lord.
It was my understanding
What?
that
Fits
Corlys
their
was
station.
his grandson, Viserys.
Can he command a fleet?
Ability does not alter his claim.
The Sea Snake has never formally named him as heir, if it comes to that.
We shall hear Princess Rhaenyra's petition along with those of the other claimants on the morrow.
See?
You do beg your pardon.
here it's making it seem like she isn't necessarily happy with everything that's being said, but it's Otto that's the one who's sort of like, yes, we must dispute.
Your Grace.
God, is he going to be like Palpatine? He's got wrappings on his face. Has it gone up to his face? Oh,
my
no.
gosh.
Oh, he's not doing good. He's on his last legs. Oh, he's been doing a really good job as Viserys. Oh, don't touch him. Ugh.
It's been so long.
Disrespectful.
He might have other stuff on him.
You are to affirm your position for Viserys. To be Corlys Velaryon's successor.
Something happened to Lord Corlys.
I say
Bless him, he's completely out of it, isn't he?
Someone we wish to introduce you to.
Or do they have other children? How many children have they got?
Well, how many? What is it? 6 years? Oh, don't let the baby touch him.
And this is Viserys.
Oh.
Oh.
Now that is a name fit for a king.
Oh. This is such an
I'm getting emotional. Oh. It's tea. What is it? What is it?
Ooh, has it got something in it?
It's Diana, Your Grace. If it please you.
Diana. What a pretty name.
Oh, has it gone done
I
something?
understand you found yourself in some trouble.
I asked him to stop, Your Grace. He did. Truly. You must believe me.
Oh, I knew it.
You were alone with the prince, were you not?
Yes.
And no one else saw what happened.
Excuse me?
If anyone else were to hear about this.
I haven't told anyone.
You told Sir Eric, and Talia, and now me. And though I believe you were not to blame, others might not be so trusting. They might think you were trying to besmirch the prince, or worse.
That
You're the
is
sort of girl
really
that might have
awful.
enticed him in the first place. I know you won't.
She's scaring her into like
I think she's gonna kill her.
being quiet. What others might think she was serving the brat as wine?
I'm surprised this hasn't caught a whole load of flack for that. She basically just victim blamed a rape victim, didn't she?
What?
That's what she just did.
I mean,
She didn't. She technically
she
didn't.
said
Aegon!
But
she said she believed her, but
But she said other people would blame her for. Oh, that's buttock.
The girl, Aegon, the one you sent fleeing from your company.
Oh, it was just harmless fun. She didn't need to go get upset about it.
Think of the shame on your wife. On me. How can you
Has he
keep
married his sister?
carrying on like this,
No.
especially on a day like today?
Why? What is it today?
Oh. Take that.
you know what?
Brat.
Good for her.
Princess Rhaenyra and Prince Daemon. It's been so long since we were granted the joy of your presence.
Yeah, there it is. Gnarly scar.
Indeed, Your Grace.
They're not long enough to merit a greeting upon our arrival.
I'm sure the Queen had pressing business, my love. What can either of us know of ruling a kingdom?
Sit, almost blind with suffering.
No. Listen, I have no doubt it was an act of the purest mercy, but tell me, for the king's suffering, did the maesters also prescribe the removal of Targaryen heraldry and the installation in its stead of various statues and stars?
The emblems of the Seven serve only to guide us on an uncertain path, to remind us of a higher rule.
Oh, so she's found God.
This character keeps on doing a 180. One second I'm like, you know what, good for her. The next minute I'm like, oh.
At no point with that Diana
I like the fact she gave her son a good slap. He needed one of those. That's what everyone wished, you know, like Cersei did to Joffrey.
Yeah. Cersei did do that to Joffrey.
Yeah, but earlier. So it had an impact.
Do you know the guy who's playing the Lannister bloke?
Mm.
That bloke was in Game of Thrones Season 1.
What's your problem?
Which that one?
Yeah.
Really?
One that's playing the Lannister Lord.
No one.
Yeah, who's sick you?
Being heir to Driftmark.
He's obviously being trained well.
Well done, my prince.
God, he's got a bit of like a Weasley eye, hasn't he?
He's got one of those jaws as well.
I say eye as in singular because he only has one.
What was he called? Vaemond.
Vaemond. I mean, at least learn how to make a proper entrance. Bit lackluster, isn't it?
No, considering how Rhaenyra and Daemon arrived, that was quite impressive.
Mm.
He waited so that no one was talking.
Look at his little smirk, little rat. He's like, ugh.
I think the pair of them are. Him and
like,
Otto.
ugh.
Otto's the only one, apart from in the last episode, Otto's the only one who I thoroughly have not liked in this series.
Alicent, keep on. Every minute I feel like she could improve. She does something where I'm like, ugh. Ugh.
You intend to advocate for yourself? This is no fair.
There'll be three different.
It is a trap. Set by the Queen in the Hand, I'd wager, to proclaim my son illegitimate.
Yet you did worse than that with Rhaenyra.
I loved your son. You may not believe it to be true, but I did.
I mean, technically, she could say no, and she wouldn't be lying. She didn't.
I did not order his death.
I mean, sure, they killed a little random cleaner boy, but...
Baela will be Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, and her sons will be heirs to the throne. Rhaenyra will rule in Driftmark, and the seat will pass to her and Viserys' children in time.
A generous offer. Or a desperate one.
What does it matter?
It was a very generous offer, actually. How would he be able to address the court?
Do you refer to her as his only child?
Is she going to take his tea or something? Be one way to quicken his wits.
Yeah, but I mean,
Sharp
what if Alicent's right though, and he was just in an incredible amount of pain, which, to be perfectly honest,
seems likely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to show us his back or something, eh?
Oh, it's like a double-edged sword, isn't it? You don't want him to be in pain, but you don't want him to.
Just arrange this up.
Look how thingy he is. Like, what's the word?
Skinny.
Yeah.
Though it is the great hope of this court that Lord Corlys Velaryon survive his wounds.
The history of our noble houses extends beyond the Seven Kingdoms to the days of old Valyria. For as long as House Targaryen has ruled the skies, House Velaryon has ruled the seas. When the doom fell on Valyria, our houses became the last of their kind.
Yeah,
Their forebearers came to this new land knowing that were they to fail, it would mean the end to their bloodlines.
If you cared so much about your house's blood, Sir Vaemond, you would not be so bold as to supplant its rightful heir. No, you only speak for yourself and for your own ambition.
You'll have chance to make your own petition, Princess Rhaenyra. Do Sir Vaemond the courtesy of allowing his to be heard.
Ugh.
It's that smug face he's got.
What do you know of Velaryon blood, Princess?
I feel like this is a... They need like a Tyrion in here. Someone who just knows what he's saying. How about that for an
Viserys
entrance?
of House Targaryen,
Get up there.
the first of his name, King of the Andals, and the Rhaenyra, and the first men.
Yeah, put that in a pipe and smoke it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Obviously, Daemon learned his entrances from somewhere, didn't he? I bet he's not even sick. He's just doing this on purpose so that he looks menacing. And Otto cacks himself.
Aye.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. He's the Phantom of the Opera. Good on him. Hope he goes in and just straight away says Viserys is the heir to Driftmark. Done. Now I can go back to sleep. That's genuinely what I would be like as a king. Yeah, it's like I've been saying from episode 1, you know. It's like Viserys isn't a bad man, he's just not a shrewd king.
He's not overly assertive, is he? I think that's a big issue with him.
He's more bothered about having like a close family than having a tightly run kingdom.
Well, he remembers, I mean, what was he? He was the grandson of Viserys, wasn't he? That's what their family was like.
That's the two sides. He's got to pick. Alicent or Rhaenyra.
I will sit the throne today.
Your Grace.
Yeah, he will. Oh God, don't trip over and fall on one of those swords.
Oh God, that would be just what they needed, wouldn't it? Oh,
I mean, look at this. This is the minefield. Oh.
Is he going to ascend the throne on his own?
I said I'm fine.
Oh, come on.
Oh.
Oh, stop it.
He said he would protect him. Oh, I just think about how this could have been so easy. This entire drama that's happened could have been so easy.
Imagine what would have happened if Rhaenyra and Daemon had married in the first place.
If Rhaenyra and Daemon had married in the first place and Daemon had been named Hand, would have been, as reckless as he is, it was born out of his not being happy about not being Hand. But he was the only one there brave enough to go up and help him.
As a matter of fact, the Princess Rhaenyra has just informed me of her desire to marry her sons Jace and Luke to Lord Corlys's granddaughters, Baelor and Rhaena. A proposal to which I heartily agree.
Oh, look at her. She was happy about that.
Yeah, because he went and
The
held
matter
a hand when...
settled. Again.
He deserves to inherit the name Velaryon. No.
What?
I will not allow it.
Allow it. Do not forget yourself, Vaemond. Viserys is my true-born grandson. And you, no more than the second son of Driftmark.
You may run your house as you see fit.
Wow.
I will not see it ended on the account of this.
Say it.
Oh no.
Dare ya?
Oh no.
Dare ya?
Oh God, look at him. Oh no. Oh no, what's gonna happen?
Children.
Bastards!
Oh no.
And she is a whore.
What?
Oh no. Oh look.
Oh, he's angry.
Will have your tongue for that.
Oh.
He can keep his tongue.
That guy got exactly what he deserved. Vaemond, the...
That's what Daemon absolutely wanted. He wanted him to say something, didn't he? He was just waiting. Didn't he have issues with Daemon?
Yeah, he wasn't overly fond of him during the battle, was he?
Yeah.
I thought he just chopped the top of his head off. I thought he was rocking up in a wheelchair there. But I mean, he is really, isn't he?
I aspire to be like that one day.
Oh. They wanted to sit closer to that. That's cute.
It both gladdens my heart and fills me with sorrow to see these faces around the table. The faces most dear to me in all the world, yet grown so distant from each other in the years past.
Oh my word.
Oh dear.
I was just expecting it to be like a little cut up or something.
My own face is no longer a handsome one. Let us no longer hold ill feelings in our hearts. The crown cannot stand strong if the house of the dragon remains divided.
That's what it's called that.
Set aside your grievances.
Half the time, I think Daemon's just there just to enjoy all the fireworks.
He doesn't look happy, does he?
No.
I regret the disappointment you're soon to suffer.
Oh, come on.
If you ever wish to know what it is to be well satisfied, all you have to do is ask.
Chase. It isn't so bad. Mostly he just ignores you. Except sometimes when he's drunk.
Daemon laughing. Is the point there to make it seem like Aegon's the one with the big mouth, but Aemon's the one that's actually...
He's the muscle.
He's the one that's scared of him, yeah. She was on the other foot, boy. Oh. I feel like something is going to happen here. There's going to be a fight or something.
It's also nice, though. She must be miserable with him.
Yeah.
Oh dear, he showed them all his face right before they were about to eat.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to, would you?
Not to be insensitive, but, you know, that definitely put you off, wouldn't it?
Oh, look, he's looking around at them all. Actually having a good time for once. Oh my word, he is going to die, isn't he? He's going to die in the company of all his family, having a good time for once.
He won't know of all the hardships
That comes, yeah. Do you know what the worst part about it is? It's not even necessarily his fault. If I blame anyone for everything that's happened after this, it's Otto Hightower.
Who even has a smile on his face? God, he's like... There's so many characters in this where I'm just like... Oh.
I say even now, the only character I genuinely don't like from a character point of view, not like an acting point of view or anything, is Otto.
About Laris. Laris Strong.
Oh, yeah. No, but I actually quite like him. This might be like a really obvious thing to say, but that felt very Last Supper-y. Him sort of sat in the middle at his friends and family. So who's the betrayer? Who's the Judas? Is it Aemond? It's a pig.
It's a pig.
Oh no. He's laughing because he's remembering the pig.
Oh dear.
Final tribute. Strong.
Vaemond.
Come. Let us drain our cups to these three strong boys.
I dare you to say that again.
Why? It was only a compliment. Do you not think yourself strong?
Oh! That really escalated quickly.
Go to your quarters. All of you go, now.
Ooh. Oh, that's a sort of showdown, I want to say.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he looked away first. There might be a troublemaker boyo, but you're looking at the troublemaker, alright? As much as I don't, because Paddy Constantine's been knocked out of the park as Viserys, surely they're not going to do another time. What's it going to be left of him? Just his head. It's just going to be a talking head. Is he Aegon the Unworthy? He's not, is he? Can't be, surely. The one that causes the Blackfire rebellions.
No. There's. That's later, isn't it?
What's this about 100 years before?
Aegon.
Oh no!
No. No, he thinks it's Rhaenyra.
The Song of Ice and Fire. It is true. What he saw in the north. You are the one. You must do this.
No! Ah! Stop!
Devastation! Oh no!
No, but she doesn't know. Oh.
Why didn't you introduce yourself when you walked in the room?
I understand, my king.
Oh no!
After everything she said to Rhaenyra.
Yeah. And she's gonna put that absolute rat on the throne as well. Bless him.
Oh,
Yeah.
God's sake.
Yeah, I think that is his last episode. If, for anything else, just practicality, I can't see him.
No,
If
I
it's
think
gonna
that
be
was it, wasn't it?
Yeah. A lot to unpack in that episode.
As if.
Great episode. That was a great episode.
He had to just like say all that stuff when Alicent was there, didn't he? God.
It wasn't his fault.
I know.
He's all thingied out of his head, isn't he? Drugged out of his head.
But now she's just gonna say, well, he said he wanted Aegon on the throne. Rhaenyra's not gonna believe her. She's gonna go, well, no.
Yeah. It was a really good episode, wasn't it? There was a lot I liked there and a lot I didn't like. No, sorry. When I say I didn't like it, I don't mean...
You disliked the content, you mean? You just...
Yeah, I don't like...
Like, you dislike Aegon.
Yeah, I
Aegon
disliked
and you dislike-
Aegon, yeah.
Do you know what it is? I like Aemond, but I don't like him. Aemon.
Yeah.
I'm like... He's a cool character, but I'm also like... He's such like a...
It's strange to think that this is, like, 2 episodes ago, he was the one being joked about having flying a pig.
Yeah.
And it seemed like all the rest of them were picking on him. And now he's the one who's sort of all of them seem to be scared of him.
I mean, he's a great fighter, and now he's riding Vhagar, the biggest dragon, so he's not exactly got much to laugh about, have they?
I like that showdown between Daemon and Aemon, though. That was cool.
Yeah. That's obviously got to be like...
It's going to be a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where it's going to lead to, isn't it?
But
I don't think that's Aegon the Lesser. I don't think that's him. Unworthy. Because...
The Blackfire Rebellion, you've got to remember the Blackfire Rebellion happens...
I know, but if I remember how this turns out, it can't be that Aegon.
Why?
Because...
Is it not Aegon that ends up on the throne? Following the Dance of Dragons?
If I remember how the story turns out.
I think it is. Which Aegon then? Rhaenyra was Aegon.
He's like Aegon the Young or something, isn't he?
Maybe. I need to read.
It's been a while since, but if I remember correctly, I don't think it's that Aegon. I don't even think it's either of those Aegons. I think it'll be another one. I don't think it can be those two.
The Yeah, but if this is only 100 years before
Maybe. Well,
Game of Thrones, right? There's at least five Blackfire rebellions. The last one ends when, is it Barristan Selmy kills Maelys the Monstrous? And that's only 10, 20, 30 years before Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So that leaves only, 70 years? You've got to have a full king's reign in there. And then all of the other 4 Blackfire rebellions.
Yeah, this takes place over a few years, doesn't it? But then I don't think it's that Aegon. I don't think it's Alicent's Aegon. I think it's the other one.
I guess we'll see.
Maybe completely wrong, but that's how I remember it.
I need to read Fire and Blood again. Once I've read Fire and Blood again, I'll know. The list of stuff to read is just massive at the minute. Yeah, a good episode. I like the bit when Daemon chopped the guy's head off. I like that.
Yeah.
That was cool. He deserved that.
That guy, you didn't really see much of him, did he? He was always kind of just in the background. He didn't really have much to say or do. And
the only other episode that he was in prominently was probably the one with the battle on the Stepstones.
Yeah.
Where he did seem to disagree with Daemon. Was it him? Rhaenyra and Corlys were on Daemon's side, and
he didn't. Yeah.
He didn't really like him.
Yeah, because he wanted to wait for the king. He was one that sent word to the king, wasn't he?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. But in this one episode, in the time that we saw him in this episode, it just really made you dislike him. That little smirk he had on his face, oh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
There might not even be any fight in this series,
Yeah.
If you remember with Game of Thrones, the first
season,
season, there was no fighting in the first season of Game of Thrones. There was 2 fights.
Really. It was mainly just single. There was Eddard Stark and Jaime Lannister, wasn't there? And there was
the Hound in the Mountain.
Yeah, there wasn't. That's a good thing about this show, though. It's certain the politics.
It's the
of
political
time
intrigue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. If this is Paddy Constantine's last episode, then he deserves a lot of credit because he's been bloody good as Viserys. He's a really good actor who hasn't had very many really big roles, but he has just knocked it out of the park.
It's introducing when it uses actors and actresses. When it uses actors and actresses that you don't recognise.
Yeah, that's what Game of Thrones did. It had maybe 1 or 2 people who you did know who they were. People like
Peter Dinklage,
Sean Bean, but all the rest of them, the actual main characters, weren't necessarily known actors. People like Kit Harington and Amelia Clarke, Maisie Williams.
Yeah.
And to be fair, this is done quite similar. People like Paddy Constantine, who is a really good actor, but hasn't been in a lot of very big things.
I didn't recognise him before this, to be perfectly honest. I don't think I've seen him in anything before.
Yes, you have.
Have I?
You 100% have.
What?
The Cornetto trilogy.
The what?
The Cornetto trilogy. Shaun of the Dead. Hot Fuzz.
Is he in that, is he?
Hot Fuzz, yeah. He's one of the Andys.
I can't really remember if he's
You
in
know
that.
the 2 detectives who've got the moustache, who don't like him in Hot
Right.
Fuzz. He's one of his friends in... Have you seen The World's End? Like you do, you know him.
I don't know. I can't. I'm really bad at placing, but I probably have seen it, but I can't remember.
There's him. There's Rhys Ifans. I don't know if it's Evans or Ifans, but there's him. He's quite a famous actor. God, I don't know if he won an Oscar or if he was nominated for an Oscar, but he was in the only good chick flick ever made, Notting Hill.
Okay.
You've seen Notting Hill, haven't you?
I've seen Notting Hill, yeah.
This is best mate. He's the ginger guy. Can you believe it? What a bloke. And obviously Matt Smith in this one as well.
The thing is, alright, and I say people, because people debate about it a lot, which side that they're on. At this point, at this moment in time, after this episode, in my personal opinion, I just can't see how you could back the Greens.
The High Towers. Yeah.
The High Towers, the Greens. It's just, if you look at it, right, solely, Rhaenyra and Aegon, right, they're the 2 claimants, aren't they?
Yep.
To me, it's fair enough, they both aren't perfect characters.
Mm-hmm.
They've both done some questionable things. They're both, this and that. But I feel like Aegon has less redeemable qualities than Rhaenyra. I don't understand how anyone could look at Aegon and go, yeah, he should be king.
Yeah.
He'll be a good king.
But in that same thing, while we're talking about that, the people don't know what Aegon's like, do they? If she's doing things like...
No, I mean from a viewer point of view, because people debating it all the time where it's like, well, why wouldn't you support the Greens? And it's like, what?
Yeah. If I was in this world and I knew everything that I know as a person now,
yeah,
absolutely Rhaenyra was the one you would pick.
Yeah.
The only
It'd be different if you were a part of this world. Then yeah, that'd be completely different.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll see opinions change if the information does get out about him through that last. But the point I was making was just from like a viewer standpoint, watching it. I don't at this moment in time. Fair enough, Rhaenyra is, you know, she had like illegitimate children with like Harwin Strong and all this stuff, but she's not a bad person. Yeah. And we as the viewer know that her and Laenor had made a deal, and Laenor was fine with it and still chose to raise those children and love them as his own.
Yeah. And to be fair, she could have quite easily just orchestrated Laenor's death. As
she could have actually had him killed, yeah.
And she gave him the chance instead to run off and be happy. Because when she said to Rhaenys, I did think she genuinely loved Laenor.
Yeah, well, it's
and it was just it's one of those things. And
I think she. I mean, you can love someone without loving them romantically, can't you? I think that's the kind of love she had for them. Yeah. He was the father of her children.
Yeah. I think the person that she probably has loved from the beginning is probably Daemon, isn't it?
She's in love with Daemon, yeah. I don't know, at this moment in time, I can't say. You might like Alicent as a character, that's fair enough, but I don't feel like that's cause enough to support their side.
See, I don't. My thing with, as far as characters that I dislike for, like, the way they've been written, I would say Alicent's probably the lowest. Because, in the early episodes, I liked her, right? Because she was following the path that a character was necessarily, she was getting certain bits of information that was pushing her a certain way, then she was presented with new information and she sort of moved the other way. But I think the time jump was probably the least favourable to her, because she seemed to go from this sort of sweet teenager who had sort of been dealt a bad blow with Sir Criston to suddenly being completely against Rhaenyra, and she was completely and then to get to this episode where she seems to have done the opposite again. It's kind of like, is it trying to show her as a bit sort of, what's the word? Like, quick to change.
I saw something that there was going to potentially be flashbacks in the next season, that those two young actresses will be coming back. And
it would be a good way to keep them on.
Because there is a 10-year time jump, isn't there?
Yeah. And it's just, that was probably my only criticism of this show so far, because apart from that, I've loved every bit of it.
Yeah. I think the thing is as well, and I saw, it was, who was the actress that played the younger version of Alicent?
I don't know her name.
Whoever that actress was, she had said part of the reason that had caused the rift between her and Rhaenyra was that she swore on her mother's life, even though it was like a half truth. She wasn't.
Well, she said nothing happened with Daemon.
Yeah, but I mean, something did kind of happen with Daemon though. It was
they
smooched
a bit, sort of groped each other, but apart from
that, apparently, like Rhaenyra knew she was in love with Sir Criston. That Alicent was in love with Sir Criston.
Alicent's in love with Sir Criston.
That's what I saw. I've been seeing a lot of that, and I'm like,
is that a theory or is that a real thing?
I don't know. Apparently, the actress said this.
But there's been no indication that she's been in love with Sir Criston.
Well, that's just what I saw. I mean, I don't know. Someone can elaborate if they know, but
yeah, I suppose we'll see. We'll just have to see. There's only 2 episodes left.
I mean, she might be in love with him now,
yeah. Who knows? Let us know what you think down in the comments. Correct us on our Targaryen history if you feel up to it. I need to read all of George Martin's stuff again. That's my problem. It's been so long since I read anything.
Take you forever.
Huh?
It'll take you forever.
Oh, no. I know. Don't you worry. But yeah, correct us on some stuff. Tell us some stuff. Try not to spoil it if you can. I'm pretty sure it's already been spoiled.
I mean, if you've watched Game of Thrones, you know the end of the story. You know what happens. Yeah. Especially to like Rhaenyra and the overall end of the Dance of the Dragons.
Yeah. Like the video, subscribe, ding the bell notified when we upload. We upload every day. Anything else you want to say?
I feel like all hell is just going to break loose. What's the next episode's episode 9, isn't it? If it follows the same structure as Game of Thrones, it's just going to be like
yeah, that's when
just chaos, dragons, fire.
Who is going to hit the fan?
Just.
Is that the same?
I mean, it's not quite the same, but it's
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm family friendly. I know we're watching a show about murder, incest, and dragons and stuff, but I can still be family friendly. Alright? Thank you for watching.
I need to know.